If there is one thing most believers in Jesus want to be able to do, it is hear from God. They want to recognize his voice and know when he is speaking to them. Who hasn't wanted to ask the question, "Can't you talk any louder, God?" Well, Destiny Image has a great book for everyone who wants to hear God's voice and is a bit frustrated in the process of learning how. "Can't You Talk Louder, God?" by Steve Shultz is the answer for everyone who is ready, once and for all, to know the secrets of hearing God's voice every day. Here is Steve talking about learning to hear the voice of the Lord.
So the house of love is the big one. Okay, now let's talk about some of the little houses that the Lord showed me. The house of prayer for all nations. This is a house of prayer for all nations. And sometimes we forget that we're supposed to humble ourselves and pray for all nations. So we're going to do a couple of prophetic acts real quick. And we're going to show you what it means to humble yourself before God so that he can lift you up at the proper time. And that we can pray for all nations. So it's both a house of prayer for all nations to come, and it's a house of prayer to come to pray for all nations. So now what would happen if a person just said, you know, I'm not feeling particularly emotionally alive, I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm just going to humble myself before God and pray for all nations. And we all decided to just do that. And so it looks like this. Let's see, I don't know where I can get in the open here, but I mean it's like this, okay? Now, did I just humble myself? Yes or no? One of my most amazing miracle stories was when I knelt in my bathroom and said, "Hey, Lord, I humble myself," and I have no emotions, but I said, "I'm just humbling myself." And that's when the dove came and visited for 38 days in a row and watched over. And that was just a couple years ago right here. And when I came to this church, that day it flew away, and when I came back, it was waiting for me. All I did was just do this. So as a prophetic act, anyone that can, now some of you can't kneel, but those that would want to, just kneel. Just, you can face this way, you can face the other way, just for a minute, and just say, look, what we're going to do is we're going to tell the Lord, no emotion has to be involved whatsoever. No kneeling benches, as you notice, and very little room, because these are packed in here. We're just going to do this for a minute. Now, what if everybody said in their heart at the same time, Lord, I humble myself. In fact, let's say it with our mouth. Lord, I humble myself. Now, actually, heaven is looking down and seeing hundreds of people humbling themselves, no tears, or very few tears, let's say, and they're just doing it because he likes humility. And so what if while we're there we say, hey, Lord, would you bless Israel? I'm humbling myself to ask you, would you bless Israel? And Lord, what if you just, those people in the Gaza Strip, there's no solution that seems to be, would you just bless them? And Lord, what about those people in Baghdad and Iraq? We just can't figure that out. Would you just bless them? We're just humbling ourselves and saying, would you just bless them? Because we're here to pray for all nations. This is a church to pray for all nations. It's a house of prayer for all nations. And Lord, would you bless Saudi Arabia? Would you bless France? Would you bless the United States of America? Lord, hey, Lord, would you bless the courts of the United States of America, from the lowest to the highest in the land? Lord, would you bless the President of the United States of America? Just because we knelt down and asked you to do that? Bless him, Lord. Bless George W. Bush, President of the United States, Lord. And thank you. And everybody said, amen. So that works real good. And that's what heaven's saying. That looks real good. That works really good. Hundreds and hundreds of people all humbled themselves with one intentionality, to pray for all nations. And we could have named them all, but time. The second house that I have is called the house of ill repute that he showed me.
Can't You Talk Louder, God? By Steve Shultz will have you hearing the voice of the Lord in no time. Now Destiny Image is offering this easy read book either at our website or by calling our toll-free number. Both are listed here on the screen. And as always, all Destiny Image books are available at your favorite online bookstores or at the store you love to shop at. Can't You Talk Any Louder, God? Is available right now. So order it right now before you forget.